SmashFactor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. Man, that is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to the SmashFactor 3M Open, week 27 of the PGA Tour, episode 113. Hope all you guys are doing well today on this beautiful Monday afternoon. We are coming off a interesting tournament last week. Have a full breakdown on that in a second, and rolling into what will be the weakest field, probably definitely of the restart and maybe one of the year, but probably not compared to some of the fall swings, but definitely since the restart and probably the last quote unquote weak one for a while. We got WGC next week, I believe, then the PGA Championship, then the Wyndham, and then we roll into the FedEx Cup playoffs for 3 weeks. Then we kind of have U.S. Open, fall swing, Masters, all that mixed in there. So until we get to the fall swing, definitely will be a loaded fields coming up. So interesting tactics this week just to break down. Definitely a different field from last week. You know, stars and scrub potential, top 2 price guys not looking their sharpest right now. Finau decides to get into it. I don't think he was originally committed. At least I don't remember seeing him. So, you know, bring something to it. Fleetwood makes his return. A lot to talk about with the 3M Open. So looking forward to it. Hope you guys are having a blessed day and a blessed week. Let's get into it. Last week, obviously the big drama was the Rahm penalty, which really wasn't a drama unless you had a betting circumstance. I don't really have a big take on it. My only deal is, you know, did it move? Yeah, I mean, everybody can kind of see that, but, you know, and probably everybody in the industry will say similar is that, you know, I think it's an unfair disadvantage when you are penalizing someone based off of what a camera caught when not everybody is on camera. And certainly when you're coming down the stretch of winning it or in a final group contention, something like that. Could there have been other ball movements on the course? Sure, probably were. Unintentional. I did believe Ron that I don't think he knew it moved, but it looks like it's just setup. I mean, because he did it at least twice that I saw, if not 3 times, you know, kind of getting his, you know, when he's lining his club up behind that ball. He did it before in the round. I think other people had noticed it. I saw it the first time. I think it was hole 3 or hole 4. And I thought, man, the ball kind of moved a little bit, especially with that thick rough around there. You got to be careful with it compared to some other lies. I don't think he was doing it on purpose, but, you know, it looked that way. You know, some could imply that trying to get that lie a little bit better when he goes to chip it. I don't think so. But then again, you know, we instantly said Reed did his on purpose. Did he? He said he didn't, but it looked like it did. But, you know, it's all implied, right? We don't know. I think the PGA does need to address it, though, because I don't think you can continue to only penalize people that are on camera when not every shot's caught, let alone on camera, like zoomed up onto it, like, you know, within inches, it looked like. So very difficult, you know, almost like they were trying to catch it on purpose. I don't know. It's probably not right. They were just trying to get a good angle, and it was a great shot. Obviously, he holes out. I don't believe I heard anybody really losing a lot of money on it, DraftKings wise, because I think most people that were up there probably had Rahm. So I know on Showdown, I was cashing quite a few contests, but I was at the tail end of them. I was barely cashing. But everybody behind me, you know, also had Rahm. So yeah, we all moved down because they took the birdie away, gave him a bogey, which is a big swing, but everybody got adjusted. So didn't cost me any money on DraftKings. So I don't know. I don't really know how they address that, because obviously I'm pretty sure they've quit taking the phone calls or anything like that. But, you know, when they see that, they're still going to, you know, how do you how do you address it and then but not make it on a fair playing field? Just go away with saying, hey, any camera replays, discluded from evidence for a moving ball. I don't know, because then they also use the camera to look at some other stuff. So it's an interesting deal. Be interesting to see how they kind of address that, because I think most of the tour, I think would say, especially when you looked at Twitter, some of the golfers would all say that that's not, it's kind of bullshit. So, for me personally, bad week all the way around. I just, went in on the Brooks Tiger deal, said I was, had Finau and I had Rom actually in some DraftKings. I just didn't, way too much Brooks and Tiger. And even though they both made the cut on the number, and Tiger had a pretty good Saturday, and I thought maybe had a few lineups. I thought if he could do that, or hell, if he shoots just even on Sunday, he moves up the leaderboard quite a bit. But Brooks, you kind of see the knee issue was giving him a little bit of problem. Was almost worried he may pull out for Sunday's round, but he did play, and he's committed to the 3M as of now. So it's gonna be interesting to talk about. DJ, I'm not really, and also DJ obviously, so not very good there. Got work. You lose, and that's why I do bankroll management. You take a bad week and you move on. I didn't get skunked. I did win a portion. I won about 30% of my bankroll back on the main, enough to cover the extra I put in for the big pot, so I can go back to a normal bankroll this week. But betting, worst betting week since the reboot. I think not good at all. I think I was 5-12-1 or 5-12-2. Definitely going to readjust. I started doing this before COVID, and I kind of got back into my old habits of a lot of those daily matchups. And before COVID, I backed off a lot and just started doing my best 2, maybe 3, 1 to 3 each day. It's just so hard in 18-hole golf, and Showdown's hard that way too. Now you can strategize a little bit better in Showdown because guys don't have to necessarily, they can get 5 birdies and 5 bogeys and score well. But on matchups, man, 18 holes of golf is hard to predict. I like 3 balls sometimes because if you see a good edge, you get enough juice money in there, positive juice. Sometimes it's worth it, but definitely would rather spend more on outright tournaments, props, T5s, T10s. Doing the doubles sometimes. There's some doubles I like this week with Euro or even Corn Ferry at times. And then full tournaments. I did this analysis before COVID, and that's what led me to stop doing so many daily matchups, is because my full tournaments alone in general, way better than my daily performance. Like a bad week for me is like breaking even. Sometimes, this week I went 2-1. 2-2 on full tournaments, lost just a little bit because I lost the Neiman 2-star. But, I can take 2-2 and losing here or there, but I seem to do a lot better when I'm gauging 4 rounds of golf when it's a betting deal versus 1. So definitely going to scale back on the daily, up the tournament matchups, and then up some of that prop stuff, get some more T10, T20 stuff. Because there are a lot of guys I have in the pool that I just never done the T10, T20 a lot. I started sprinkling more. So I'm going to move more of my bankroll to that and kind of adjust and try to get out of this funk. I did have 2 great weeks and then followed up with 2 bad ones. So you just kind of live with it, move on. Other than that, good tournament. It was, these are pros, so I can't say it was unfair Sunday, but boy, it feels as close to could be as unfair when you see some of them scores. I felt like the conditions were the conditions. So that's not the course's fault or Jack's fault or anything. I thought the pins were just borderline insane with the conditions they had. I felt that they could have eased up a little bit on the pins, if they wanted to. But when the scoring average was like second highest in the last decade on a regular tournament, like 78 or something, which is just crazy. But we will not deal with that this week. It'll be a scoring fest for the most part. So that kind of wraps that up. We're on to the 3M Open. First, always our 2020 site sponsor, Super Draft. Go to gupscorner.com/affiliates. Deposit $10 with the code GUP. Get $10 for free. Once you put it in play, it's yours to do as you wish. If you win and want to pull it out, you can. If you want to keep playing, go ahead. I know OG John was up there in the big contest for a while. I'm not 100% sure where he finished, but I know he did great. D-Rock's done well. A lot of people, a lot of Gups Corner logos on there. So it's exciting to see. We have great content. The Super Draft Slack channel is hopping and growing. They're doing some contest giveaways there each week. So make sure you go check that out if you're a premium member. Obviously, our content and stuff is integrated with Super Draft products. So you can go check that out. For our site, if you want to come check us out, we've had a pretty good run here overall. Different spots have been great. Betting, DK, a lot of winners. Even this week where it was kind of mixed, depending on who had DJ Brooks, Tiger, but a lot of people, we also had Finau, Rahm, and that guy got him up there. So you can come join us. It's 20% off with Smash 20. You can use that on any product package. We really just have two now. We've kind of consolidated it all down. We are offering a full weekly package that includes all the tools and the Green Machine lineup generator. So if you want to try us out for a week and get all access, you can do that as well. We also have a brand new merchandise that will hit here shortly. Probably by the time this is over, it'll be posted. Twitter, Slack. If you're a premium member, we'll have it all in there. It is a new Nike polo, Gups Corner, our first golf polo we're putting out there. It is a high quality polo. It is not a cheap done one by any means. We did a team only kind of dry run on these. It was before COVID. It was even before Honda Classic. A black one that we loved. I mean, it's a great polo. I still have it. This one is a lighter color one. We've had a lot of people say, hey, it's hot where we are when we're golfing. Can you get color? So it's kind of a gray heather polo with the black logo, and it's super, super sharp. It's a pre-order sell only. So we're going to pre-order now through August 9th, which happens to be my birthday, and happens to be round 4 of the PGA Championship. That Monday, anybody that orders or does a pre-order is entered into a drawing for a 2020 Scotty Cameron putter. It'll be on the promo and everything. It's $400 putter. Every shirt you order, you get in the drawing. So the nice thing about that is that, who knows how many you're going to get, but we're not going to order it for inventory. We're not going to order a bunch of extra. It's going to be a pre-sale only, kind of see, get feedback from the community. And then if it goes well, we'll order some more in. So be on the lookout for that promo as it hits Twitter. I'll probably do a giveaway of something like that this week. And then the premium members, you guys will get it here instantly as well. It's the putter is super sharp, and the polo is as well. We're looking forward to seeing the response on that. Up now, the Listener League, they grew it again for us, $1,000 to first. They are really impressed with our growing, you guys helping us grow that with all the Listener Leagues that are out there and big communities. We continue to fill it in almost 24 hours, a little more. So they continue to grow it for us. And that's all they ask. We show the interest, they'll keep growing it. And we want to make it huge by the time we get to the PGA Championship. So check out it's in the link of the pod. When I post this, it'll be on Twitter. If you're in Slack, it's already up there. So go in there, get your 2 entries in, $15 at a chance for 1,000. It's pretty good payout there. I think it's 500 entries this week. So we're excited about that. Last week's winner, SGTAJSRC. Pretty good lineup. Cantley, Hovland, Rahm, Day, Still, Norlander. Definitely low scoring last week all the way around. It was kind of a survival of the fittest come Sunday. Who's not going to suck the worst and lose a bunch of points. And placement points became huge, the finishing position. So, obviously having Rahm help, Day, stayed alive there. Norlander was charging, did well. I don't remember where Cantley finished. +2, +3 is last I saw, but and had the right pieces in there to win it. So congrats to him. We'll see who wins $1,000 this week in the Listener League. We had a little fun deal, that it was cool. I got this, I think Empire Maker did this with basketball last year, but Saturday night decided to do steak a gup. He did steak a fish, I think, when he did it. And we had a little giveaway in the Slack community, and the gentleman that won it, for the 444. So we gave him a free entry into the 444 for round 4 showdown. Wound up doing pretty well. I think he finished top 20, made $1,500. So that was exciting to see as well. So congrats to him. And the Slack was behind it. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think we're going to do another one of those this week as well. So be on the lookout for you premium members. As always, for this week, I'm going to point you to our boy Kenny Kim for his full breakdown of the article. He does it on the pod, and then he also posts it on the site and then adds to it Wednesday with his top plays and bets for the week, in addition to what he says on the pod, little exclusive information for the members. Par 71, almost 7,500 yards. Got torched last year by the field. Wolf won it, I think, in 20 under, 21 under. I had Wolf and DeChambeau tickets when I was doing my review. So Morikawa was there for a while. So it kind of a little bit of sweat with him in that third, but I felt Bryson or Wolf there. I had good tickets on them. So we cashed that last year. We'll see if we can go back to back years this year. Do think it'll play a little bit harder. Had a sub that lives 20 minutes or so away, and he sent me a link to a podcast where the assistant golf pro went on, or I don't know if it was radio or podcast for sure, but listened to that for a little while. Biggest deal is I think they're going to make the rough thicker and taller this year, but these are wide fairways. So if you're hitting the fairways wider than average on tour, not going to come into play. There is a lot of water. I think 15 of the 18 holes have water. But again, with such wide fairways and hitting them, if these guys can just avoid blowing it left and right, the water and stuff really didn't come into play a whole lot. Hence, 20 plus under won it last year. And there was a lot of guys that were 15 under or better. Bent fairways, bent greens. So, we'll kind of bring that into the mix. Good putters. Pretty strong storms tomorrow, which may soften it a little bit, which makes it even more of a, if these guys can take aim at those fairways and know they're not going to run out into that rough. Right now, other than that, there's a small chance, I think 40% Friday. We'll have to keep an eye on that to see if you can get an advantage. These summer showers, like we said the last 2 weeks, people thought you had an advantage and almost wanted to be in the opposite because of when they come in, do they get delayed? It's really hard because it's normally just a spot pop-up, and it's hard to predict that and to bank a whole wave advantage on that. So as of right now, nothing wave advantage for me. We'll see as we get closer to Wednesday if that changes. I'm going to put the cut about -4. We're back to T. It's been T65, but now we're back to 150 plus guys in the field. That 2 Monday qualifiers get in today. It should bring it up to like 154, 155 guys, maybe 156, but at least 154 with the Monday queue. So, well over 50% of the field's going to get cut. I'm going to put the winning score at 19. I do think it'll play a little harder, but I still think overall this will be scoreable because the fairways are so wide open to hit. Definitely opposite from last week. Some of those guys that played will love, having a little easier scoring than what they dealt with last week. 74 guys in the field have not played this. Obviously, last year was the first year this was held. So my course fit ranking in my model, I brought in a few other courses that kind of remind me of this setup and easier scoring, stuff like that. Since we only had 1 year data from the 3M Open tournament, and a ton of guys this week didn't play it last year, obviously. So not putting a whole ton on course fit this week, more recent form and stats for me, for sure. I'm going to be looking at, it's a second shot course. And if you look at that clip I listened to, it was one thing he mentioned too. It's definitely second shot. A lot of people are going to get in the fairway, so it's really about ball striking. Approach numbers. I'm looking at approach 4 different ways this week. I'm gonna look at bogey avoidance. I know sometimes that sounds weird when you got a high, low scoring, however you want to look at it. But if everybody's going to be making birdies and stuff like that, I want to look at the guys that you can't afford to get a big number out there because it's so hard to keep up. So I did bring that in to the model this week, as well as par 5 scoring was huge here last week. Some eagles to be had. Going to look at, scoring opportunities inside 12 feet, 18 feet, great approach, and then ball striking, like I mentioned. We got 5 guys in the 10K, 5 in the 9K, so a little more balance there. 10 in the 8K, so really 20 guys out of this whole field is 8K or above. So, you got 130 plus guys that are going to be in the 6 and 7Ks, 97 in the 6. So it's definitely lending to, you're going to have to go deep into the 6s and figure out, or dig into the 6s and figure out who you like. And there's several I like, really. I have a lot of guys. I may even flip in strategy. I'll kind of talk about it. I may just spread out up top and go tight in the 6. Find the make my core in the lower and kind of make my stance there, and then just have a little bit of everybody up top. You know, I hadn't really decided. It's just a thought. The top's interesting this week. Everybody's got a weird case to be made. We'll get into that here in a second. If you're new to the pod, appreciate it. We continue to grow. We're growing on the charts. You know, we're little fish in the sea right now, but we're making our climb. We're doing well, and I appreciate all the support. We've got a lot of followers, a lot of reviews. It's been a good run here the last 6 weeks or so. I do the dirty dozen, so I got 4 tiers, 3 picks each. The first 3 tiers are salary driven. The last tier is a flop, a fade, and a sleeper. I do a little roundtable wrap up on guys that couldn't fit in above, but have my eye for one reason or the other. Talk a little strategy, get my top 10 value bets on outrights as of now, little one and done, and then we wrap it up with some final thoughts and get out of here. Try to keep it quick for you guys. I know there's a lot of pods out there, so I want to get all the information you want right off the top. 9K and above, let's stick to my model for the most part. I like Henley. He's number 1 in my model. He's 9,200. He's coming off 7th at Workday, 32nd at Travelers. He did miss the cut here last year. Stat-wise, he's number 1. Pretty good form, as I just mentioned, a 7th and a 32nd. He did not play last week, so maybe that mentally is good. You don't get drained by grinding out that course. But I like him. Glover, 9,400. Been great since the reboot. 3rd in my rankings. I did play a lot of Glover last week. T20, T21, T38. I think, this is going to kind of be opposite of last week. I think last week it was eye candy on all the low pricing. I think this week's going to be, you have to ignore that some of these guys took a big boost in pricing because it's all relative to the field. So you can't be like 9,400 for Glover. I can't do that. Well, to the field, it's probably about right. You look at the betting numbers and all that. He did finish 7th here last year as well. Probably hear a lot of comparisons of the Rocket Mortgage Classic leaderboard versus last year's 3M. You can kind of see some correlation there. So I'll look at that a little bit, which he did well there, but I like that he finished 7th here last year as well. My course fit some of the other courses I brought in. He's 6th overall. So I'm going to go back to Glover. I don't mind being on him. Last one was a toss up, but I went ahead and went with Wolf. I don't know at 9,700 if people are going to zig while they zag, or is he worth it? Is he not? I mean, he finished 22nd last week. So it's pretty good in that field. He's been up and down. He had a miscut. He got 2nd at Rocket Mortgage. So there's a guy. He got 1st here last year, 2nd at Rocket Mortgage. So you kind of his thing. Miscut at Workday and then 22nd last week. Stats wise, he's just average to me. But obviously course fit and recent form, he's doing pretty good with the 2nd in there. And I don't know if people are going to go there. I think they may, because he won it last year, yada, yada, yada. 9,700, maybe be a great leverage spot. Now, if he's just talked up all over the place, I may pivot a little bit. I don't want a chalky Wolf, but I think the price is going to keep people down, in my opinion. We'll see. 7,600 to 8,900. I think my first guy is going to be probably Chalk City this week, and it's Redmond. Maybe the 8,700 scares people off, but I doubt it. I mean, when you look at anything but putting, he's going to pop. He's going to pop a lot. He's hitting the irons well. He's playing well. He missed a cut last week, but he lost like 6 or 7 putts or strokes putting. 21st at the Rocket, 11th at Travelers. I have to decide what to do with him as far as ownership. I don't, if he's going to be really, really chalky, I'll probably be leveraged to the field. I don't want to go overweight on someone that's chalky like that. Especially Doc. I mean, we know Doc, been on him for 2 years now. He's a roller coaster, man. He can, I mean, he's not like a steady Eddie to make the cut. I mean, he could easily miss it. So I like him. I'll be interested to hear what the industry's like and see what the ownership level's like. I'm hoping he's not too talked up. He's my free bet of the week. I already bet it this morning, put it in Slack, 50 to 1. I did that mainly because I'd rather bet him if I had to take a stance in DK and not play him. But as of now, without knowing any ownership, any of that stuff, I like Doc, 8,700. Sam Burns, 8,500 is my second pick in this, 24th in stats, 21st in recent form, 29th in course fit, finished 7th here last year, 30th at the Rocket Mortgage. He's made 3 straight cuts, Travelers, Rocket, and Workday, all top 30 or better. I just like him. I like the number, 8,500, good ballpark there, right in the middle. My last one in this range is going to be Straka. Been on him a few weeks now. I'll go right back there. He did miss the cut here last year, but he finished 8th at the Rocket Mortgage, 14th at the Workday, and then 61st at Memorial. Anybody that made the cut and finished Memorial, that's a plus to me. Very tough conditions. So I'm on Straka again. Stats wise, he's 33rd overall ranking. He's 22nd in my rankings, Monday rankings. So I'll take a stab back at Straka at $7,900. 7,500 or less. Probably my favorite play on the board is Chase Seifert. A 4th at Workday, missed the cut at Rocket. Stats wise, he's 3rd. Obviously, limited volume with him, but I was on him 4 or 5 weeks ago. I Workday. I called. I think it was Workday. I called him as my doc of the week, and he gets 4th. So, recent form, he's top 20 in the field. No history really. Didn't play this last year. Obviously, he's trying to grind out on tour. Newer guy. I like the kid. I liked watching him when he was on at Workday. 7,000 seems like a great price, especially in this field, to take advantage of him. So I'm gonna go back to Chase there. My next pick, this range, Ben Martin, $7,100. Missed a cut at Rocket Mortgage. That's all he's played in the last 4 weeks. I don't think he'll be highly owned at all. Stats wise, although limited, he's 4th for me. Number 1 in bogey avoidance and number 1 in my stroke opportunity blend. So I like that a lot. Other than par 5s, he's top 30 in all my categories. So I really like him at the, especially I'm looking at a lot of people are going to dip down the 6s. So some of these guys that may quantify or qualify that, there's not much difference in 65 and some of the guys may just get looked over. I mean, he's probably not a core play for me, but definitely a good GPP, going to be low owned. My last 7,500 or less, Tom Lewis, $7,200. 12th at Rocket Mortgage, has not played the last 2 weeks. 16th in my stat model. Again, right there in that same price range, $7,200. I'll go to Tom Lewis. Flop of the week. This probably means this guy's going to win because I've been riding him for 2 weeks. He's killed me for 2 weeks. But Brooks, I just don't. 11-2. I guess I'm tired of playing the what if game and being wrong. Obviously, his talent level is there. He basically has to top 5, maybe even top 3 at that price. And his iron game just sucks right now. Like, he's off. He did play here last year, but only got a 65th. So, I mean, that doesn't scream nothing to me. The only thing for playing, which is why I played, Brooks and DJ last week, is ownership's going to be down. I just don't see him being any higher than 8-9%, 10 max. But, just because of the field so weak. But I don't, I'll be interested to hear his presser. And if somehow he makes me believe the knee isn't that deal. And the worst case as a flop, the worst case I'll do is be level to the field in a big GPP. He's definitely not going to be in my 1 to 3 maxes. Not right now. Maybe that changes by Wednesday and I'll update. If he's 9%, maybe I'd take 9% if I'm building 100 lineups, just in case he does hit. But I'd rather go to DJ, and I'll get to that in a second, than I would Brooks. DJ won 2 weeks ago. I think let's not act like last week, A, it was a hard field. B, this is something that was a major mistake by me, not paying attention that he was behind Bryson and Cantley. And DJ absolutely hates slow play. And like a lot of golfers, but he can't stand it because he doesn't like thinking. No disrespect to him, but he's see ball, hit ball, go. And I mean, some of those holes were taking 30, 45 minutes for Bryson and Cantley for multiple reasons on those first 2 days. I think he just checked out, honestly. He literally just won 3 weeks ago at Travelers, 4 weeks ago. So I would rather go to DJ than Brooks if I'm going to go up there. So Brooks is my flop for the week. Fade, and this will be perception. I said in Slack earlier that I felt the 2 first just chalk names are going to go everywhere. Is going to be EVR and Redmond. Deservedly so. I like EVR. He ranks well in my model, but 8,800. Ironically, they're 88 and 87. So I'm interested to see how people go that route. I would rather EVR be chalk at this point because I just take one and miss the other. EVR missed the cut at our Rocket Mortgage Classic. He's only 102nd in my great approach, 62nd in bogey avoidance, 91st in scoring opportunities, inside 12 and 18 feet. He is good at par fives and he's good at ball striking on my numbers, but I think he's going to be high owned. I'll play it out between Doc and him. They both can't be super uber chalk, so we'll see it goes there. But at best case, I'm going to be underweight on EVR this week, assuming that he does climb the ownership like I think he will. My sleeper of the week is Jonathan Bird, $6,200, 12th at Rocket Mortgage. So I like that. He did not play last year. He missed a cut at workday, but in the stat fields, he's ninth overall for me. Great at bogey avoidance, great at opportunities in. So if you just get the putter going, I mean, all we need from 6,200 is make the cut. And obviously it's sleeper for a reason. There's several 6,000 I like, but Bird's the one that I'm going to go to for sleeper of the week. Roundtable wrap up. Finau's a guy that I'm going to go to. I don't know how much ownership because I got to figure out if I want to go to DJ this week or not, but I imagine he'll be one of the highest owned because as far as up there, you got Casey who missed the cut, hadn't played since the Travelers, does fit him 10-1, really cheap. I think he'll garnish ownership. Brooks, like I mentioned, I don't think he's going to do much. Fleetwood is the unknown up there. His caddy posted a scorecard of him shooting a 64 at Shinnecock Hills. 10-5 is a big ask for his first tournament back in forever. His first time he's played on PGA since the break for sure. You got to think he's just trying to get tournament ready for these big tournaments coming up. So I don't know if I can go to Fleetwood. I'll see how the industry goes, but it kind of leaves Finau right there in the middle. And I think people are going to avoid DJ and Brooks for obvious reasons. DJ just carded, back-to-back 80s. So I think Finau will be high owned. So that'll be where that's going to be how I have to decide that. But, he played here last year, got a 23rd, 53rd at the Rocket Mortgage. Obviously was playing well until the back nine on Saturday. And then Sunday just started out horrible and he never caught up. I'm not going to hold that against him, but 10-9 is a big price for Finau for a guy that quote unquote doesn't win much. And again, I think I just rather go back to DJ if I'm going to go up there and spend that money. That, or like in this case, I may go down to Casey and save $800. So we'll see how ownership leads out there, but I definitely don't hate Finau. I already talked about DJ enough, talked about Casey. I think Casey will probably be the highest owned in this range, just price given. And the fact that he has played, not horribly, but not great. I mean, he did finish 32nd at the Travelers. He's 8th in my stat model. So 10-1, I think people will go there. They're just going to drop to the 9s. Be interesting to see how that goes. Bubba's there right at 9. Wolf. Homa, 3 straight missed cuts, 88,000 on the number. He played here last year, made the cut, didn't do much with it. He did not play Rocket Mortgage Classic, so nothing to go by there. He's 10th in my stat model, though. I think the miscut may keep people off of him, especially at that price. And I just think he's one of the top as far as talent and ceilings go. I like Homa, and I go back to him especially I get some low ownership. Cameron Davis continues to kind of pop on the stat model. Just need him to putt. He's missed 3 straight cuts as well. He missed a cut in 19. He's a GPP flyer at best, $6,500. He's a stat darling, always has been. He's always going to be up there on Monday ranks. By the time Wednesday comes, he'll probably drop to 25th or 30th in my model just because I bring everything else into the picture. But when you're just looking at tee to green, he's going to be up there in most of the categories. So he always makes you think, man, can he just have that 1 week? Let's see. Davis. Hoffman. Sorry, Hoffman. I like Hoffman. He'll probably be talked up. 7,400 is too cheap of a price for Hoffman. Missed the cut here last year, but since the reboot, he had a 41st at Travelers and a 7th at Workday. Stat-wise, he's 18th in my model. Cheap, seems like a cheap price for Charlie Hoffman, veteran. This could be a good spot for him to get in there, get some good FedEx Cup points, stuff like that. I like Hoffman this week, but he's on my potential betting board as well. Luke List, when you look at last year's leaderboard here, you can tell that there was a ton of guys that really just didn't putt tremendously well, but were able to score. And so List kind of fits that category. He's had a roller coaster start, miscut 21st, miscut 10th. Stat ranking, he's 13th in my model. 8,400 maybe keeps a little bit of people off of him. That's kind of one of the guys that jumped up a lot. I don't mind going to List this week, especially. Norlander, I think he'll probably be a DFS darling. His price is finally kind of up there, correct. He's playing great. I mean, 8,600. That 8,000 range is going to be so spread out. That's why I wonder about Doc and EBR, because all those guys are right there next to each other. List, Doc, EVR, Norlander. They're all 85, 86, 8700. But I mean, he's fifth in recent form, 41st, 12th, 31st, and 6th. So dude's playing tremendous. If he gets his putter, keeps his putter going, he's certainly worth $8,600. He will probably be talked up. I just want, like, it's got to spread out there. So you may be able to play who you want here in the eights. We'll see. Because a lot of these guys are going to be talked up right there in that range. I think it's a prime zone this week when we're talking about salary. Seamus Powers, 6,500. 12th at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. He's 21st on my statistical model. Okay with the approach. He's third with bogey avoidance. I like that. 6,500. I definitely like the bogey avoidance part. Maybe just get in there and make the cut. That's all you need at that price. Peter Uline, Oak State guy. It's going to become a theme here. You got Wolf, Uline. I'm going to talk about Ventura here in a little bit, but 6,900. It's a flyer, GPP flyer. Stat-wise, he's going to be there. As far as this price range goes, you missed the cut at 19, you missed the cut at Rocket, so that doesn't really bode well. But at the price, in this type of field, he's definitely worth a look as a flyer. Alex Sajeka, 6,300. I think that price is kind of cheap for him. Obviously, we saw him play some at the Outlaw, coming in with some kind of recent form. Stat, and he missed the cut here in stats, just okay. Again, 6,300. These are just some GPP flyer type guys, nothing crazy. Hudson Swafford, 30th at Rocket Mortgage, 38th in my stats. Course fit, he's 13th. 67 seems a little cheap for him. I definitely like that. Bogey avoidance, he's 5th in the field. So these guys down here in the 6s are guys that I like. Stallings, I like a lot this week. I think this could be a good week for him. 7,600. He made the cut here last year. He 39th at the Rocket Mortgage. He had a 6 at the Travelers, 58th at Workday, 23rd overall in my model. In my statistical model and my Monday ranking. So I like Stallings a lot this week. He's high up in my pool as of now. Adam Shank, I like him this week. Just lost him. He's 26th in my model overall. He missed the cut here last year. He finished 30th at Rocket Mortgage, 39th at Workday. He's 12th in the stat side model for me. He looks really good on the stats. Great approaches. He's 16th in the field. Par 5 scoring blend. He's 10th. And then everything else, he's kind of average. But that, 6,900, again, just need a cut maker. I like he's made his last 2 cuts, missing at the Travelers before that. Bubba's interesting because at 9,900, but prior to last week, he'd missed 3 straight cuts. His putter wasn't working real well. It seems overpriced, so I'm expecting a little bit of ownership leverage potential here, and that's where I would go because between him and Wolf, I probably would rather play Wolf. But if Wolf winds up kind of catching some fire and say he's 16, 17% and Bubba's 8, I may take Bubba at 9,900. Some leverage type spot there, but he's definitely on my radar. Jonathan Vegas, 7,900. Just steady Eddie, plays well. 24th at Travelers. He did miss the cut at Workday. He did not play last week. Harris English probably will be talked up a lot. 9,000 seems like a big tag for him. He's a guy I potentially will fade. He did play well. He finished well last week, T13. Stat-wise, he's okay. But at 9,000, if he's going to kind of get talked up like he has been, he's a potential fade candidate for me. Josh Teeter, 6,400. 62nd at the Rocket Mortgage, 15th in my stat model, which really kind of caught my eye. Good approach game, 31st in par 5, 18th in strokes opportunity, inside 12 and 18 feet. I definitely, for 6,400, he's definitely in the GPP flyer field for me. Bryce Garnett had a good year out here last year. Recent form's been okay. He did miss his last 2 cuts, so that's not exciting, but GPP flyer type deal, $6,900. I'm just trying to get some of these guys on the list that know at 6,600. 57 at the Rocket, 11th at the Travelers. He missed the cut at Workday. Stat wise though, he's 32nd, obviously limited, but another one of the, there's 97 guys in the 6,000, so I'm trying to hit some that I definitely like. Arjun Atwal, 6,000 even. I think I'll have some of him. He 23rd here last year, 45th at the Rocket. He doesn't pop like crazy anywhere, but he's average. He's, everywhere I'm looking, he's pretty average. His bogey avoidance is high, But 6,000, I mean, that really opens your field up, and all you need from that is definitely a made cut. So he may be worth the risk. Christopher Ventura, I mentioned that he's from Oklahoma State. They're with Wolf and those guys, Hovland. 21st at Rocket Mortgage. 7,300. Maybe we'll get bypassed with the names around him. So he's a guy I'm looking at. JJ Spawn, I like him, but I don't know how he'll do when you got to go that low. He's not really consistently for 4 rounds, but 6,500 makes the cut. That's all you need. Upside probably limited. I don't see him getting the 18, 20 under to be contending, but all you need from that kind of guy is to make the cut. Chris Kirk, 7,800. Obviously, we all like his story. He played well at Rocket Mortgage. I think he was first round leader. He's 50th in my model, so 7,800 seems maybe sticker high for some people. So I could be possibly low owned there. Talked about Fleetwood. I'm just be interested to see how the industry, how do we take that? Got shot of 64 with the caddy. Does that mean he's in good form? Who knows? I right now I'm not going to be on Fleetwood, but we'll see if that changes. And then a couple more to round it out. Sean Stefani at 6,300, same deal. He finished 15th here last year, which I like. Possible flyer. And then last was a guy that I also had bet last year, and I got the top 5 on. It was Carlos Ortiz, 7,700. He finished T5 last year on the dot. Made those last 2 cuts, 68 or 61st at Workday and 40th at Memorial. Certainly has a game in the upside here. 7,700, maybe he gets a little people off of him. They bypass him, go for someone cheaper. So I kind of like him as well. Like I mentioned on strategy, I think we're back to where we were, for the Workday, the Rocket Mortgage, a little bit less lower strength fields. The way there's 97, probably going to be 99, because I imagine the 2 guys that made the cut are going to be 6,000, 6,100, or made the Monday Q. So you're almost going to have 100 guys in that 6,000 range. It almost requires you to, do some kind of variation of a star scrubs type of deal. Like I mentioned, what I may do is try to find 3 or 4 of these guys down here that I like and just kind of go a little overweight on them. And because I don't know where I'm going to go up top, I really think the 8 and 9K range is going to tell the story of the week, especially the 8. I think it's going to be peppered and loaded. There's a lot of good names there. Glover will probably be talked about. Obviously, I think Henley is my number 1 in the rankings. Because in this 10K range, there's no one that just begs for you to go, man, that guy's on fire. It's not like Bryson when he won, where it's like Bryson and everybody else or anything like that. I mean, you got Casey, just missed the cut, just meh. Fleetwood hadn't played in forever. Finau is probably but he never wins. And at that price, you need him to win. DJ just shot 80-80. So Brooks, he's got 1 bad knee. So there's nothing there. I think that range is going to be fairly low owned, but they had to be priced there just based off of their ceiling and what they've done. I still go back to, I think DJ probably could be talked up this week because, when you're talking about this field and you can assume Brooks is still trying to get his knee right. And DJ hit the ball, drove the ball well. He just didn't have much of an iron game. He was off, and just never – he'd have big holes, so he'd start out like – I think he went triple or he went double, triple something, but he 4-putted on that first hole. He's right there sitting for birdie and he walks away with a double. Then he gets a triple and then he birdies and he gets another double. I mean, it was just very odd the way he was off, but I think that's easy for him to dial in. I mean, he just won 2 weeks ago. So I like DJ up there and then maybe find some scrubbish people, but I think most people are going to be down, Henley, English, Glover, pepper the 8K, mix in some 7s and maybe not try to go as far in the 6s as they normally do. But I like the 6s in general. A lot of guys I like there that I'll play, especially in a GPP type of setting. Now we'll go to our betting segment brought to you by Monkey Knife Fight. We had our first free roll last week. They're finishing up the finals to see who won that in the Beat Gups Corner Challenge. They'll credit your accounts here the next 24 hours. Kind of little, bumps in the road, getting that thing rolled out and done correctly. Finally got it rolling, into round 2, round 3, round 4. Great turnout. The Slack did amazing. We're going to do it again for the PGA Championship. If you're in there now, you're still going to be in there and you can still get in, just go deposit, go to gupscorner.com/affiliates, click that link, deposit up to $50, anywhere from $20 to $50. You get matched 100%. and then you're in the free roll. That's all you got to do is put the money in and put it into play once. Just play one contest, and you're in the free roll here for the PGA Championship. It's a great opportunity to win money and to win prizes and money. My top 10, kind of, I changed this up last week. I'm going to stick with it. Kind of 10 just off the top of the board values that I see, and kind of a little bit of regurgitation from what we've already said on the DK side, obviously, but there is some. Henley 33-1, Redmond 50-1. That's my free play of the week. Seifert 100-1. Bird 350-1. And I'd probably, if you have the access to the each way, I would do that. He's for sure will probably be like a top 10, top 20 type play for me once those numbers come out. Hoffman, I mentioned 70-1. List 45-1. Straka 55-1. Wolf at 28-1. I don't mind going back to him. I think he can certainly win this. I think it's a good number, considering the field. Teeter, he's kind of like Bird for me, 250-1. If you can do each way, I would like that, or do a top 10, top 20 type deal. And then Ventura 80-1. I like his game. And I think he could break out here this week. Kind of follow up what his partner from OSU did last year. I'll have my full card out, obviously by Wednesday. I normally put my outrights and stuff out tonight. I'm almost done with my horrendous recap of the betting week, but get that posted and then I'll get some outrights going. I did list 2 in the Slack if you're listening now. So if you're a premium member, you can go check them out, but I'll have first round of outrights out tonight. One and done. This is the final week of segment 2. I believe that is correct. Maybe not. Yes. Okay. Yep. I get the thumbs up. So final week of segment 2. So this is the last week that I get to just take a flyer, and then I am re-gearing. I've been saving some. I was out early in this segment, so I was like, all right, I'm just going to load up on segment 3. But if you are fighting, I like, Wolf maybe alone as far as strong plays. Wolf, Casey, Finau, a DJ if you still got him. I don't know how many people would play him here. Henley, I think it's a good one. Kind of that mid-pack range guys, top 10 potential. Redmond, List, Burns. I think Burns could be a good play. If you're trying for a skins play, a couple that I like are a couple Oklahoma State boys, Uline and Ventura. Maybe even, Seifert, Teeter. Those kind of guys can be in that skins play, which is kind of what I've been going for, is trying to be a little unique. And then I will revamp up next week for WGC and the start of segment 3. So, it kind of wraps up everything pod wise. I have an event Wednesday afternoon. So I'm going to be doing E9 probably around 10 Eastern, maybe even a little earlier, Wednesday morning. Still be live. Obviously it'll be recorded and all the pre-members can get to it later on. I will come back that night once I get back, kind of take a glance over some of the last minute things. I'll either get in Slack and kind of put an update if I have anything, or maybe even update an article. But I'm going to try to push everything out a little earlier this week, as I'll be away for most of the afternoon Wednesday. So, set your reminders there if you like watching that live. If not, always get on the website. It's been a great run. It's been humbling. We've grown like no other in the last 6 weeks. The team's been working really hard. I read this article today and I shared it with my team, and it really got me thinking, especially some personal stuff I've dealt with in the last 6 weeks. Everything's been great for us now, as we've been relocating. Somebody relocate your family and everything that comes along with that. It's very, it's not easy. It doesn't matter who you are. I have an autistic kid. That makes it even a little harder. He does not like change. I read this deal and it was titled "Other People's Success is Not Your Failure." It says 5 ways to stop measuring your success against someone else's, and kind of hit home to me. And I have the link. I'll put it in Slack if someone wants to read it, or Twitter. But the top 5 things, there's a big article on it, but just the headline was, limit your time on social media, which, I kind of mentioned that it's such a cesspool. I do try to engage because there are a lot of good people on there and a lot of interesting feedback that you can get and learn from. But, that's with the old mute button or block, or you can keywords, take politics out, Trump, Biden, all that stuff, just so you can see what you want to see and kind of educate yourself. Celebrate other people's successes. We do a great job of that in the community and Slack. One of those first text I sent this morning was to Moose. I gave him huge congratulations on being bought out. Anytime you grow something from the ground up, and then someone else appreciates it enough and wants it to buy him. He's still running it. He's still going to do everything. Nothing's changing with Fantasy National, but it's success for him and his family and anybody that's involved in that. So that's a great deal for the industry, and it gets some people noticed. It got him noticed. He's worked hard on it. So, big shout out to Moose. Count your blessings. That's something that I try to do every day. Be thankful in everything that you have. And when you wake up every day and it's a new day. Number 4 was stop competing and work together. And that's a, yin and a yang type of deal. You want to be better than your competition. You obviously have competition no matter what you're doing in life, but you can also collaborate with people that may, and we do a pretty good job of that in this industry, of having people on other pods, bringing them on, Kenny Kim and Tambo, 2 different organizations, but they do a great pod together. A lot of crossover there. That's a good way to think about it. We always don't have to be negative. And then last and kind of most important to me was, measure your success against what matters most, your relationship with God. And that's what got me on the article. Obviously blessed as well as I could be, and certainly try to give back to the community, whether it's GC or our personal community here. And it was a great read. I'll post it later if people want to read it overall. Just kind of kind of a wake up call at times. You kind of need those sometimes. And it came to me, it was a random deal that I got. And I was like, all right, this was meant for me to read. And it really hit home for me. Appreciate all you guys. I know our team appreciates you. They've been working hard. I thank them for their work. They've really grown this thing, and we're continuing to grow it into something I never thought was be possible. So we appreciate all the support. Remember, 10 a.m. Eastern Wednesday. Be on the lookout for the promo and the new polos. They're really, really nice. You can help us out there by promoting them. Not a money grab for us. We're basically selling them just above cost. Really want it out there just to grow the community and awareness type of deal. And people who play golf, they've been asking for it. So now we finally got some. So we're looking forward to the feedback there. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you Wednesday morning. Have a good week.
SmashFactor.